responsibility would be first and foremost. One of the things we talk, at least to my son about, or to others who are learning, is saving is important, that you should always have a backup. So that's one thing I can always say, that I've always had money in savings. So when crisis occurred, we've been blessed, and I trace that back to God. That tithing was one of the most important things, and I feel like we've been blessed throughout, that I've been able to save and have a savings, and then we've never had to want for anything. So that's been a blessing. I would say some of the things that, going from where you're at, and even from my perspective, is thinking beyond. I wish I had known better about how to save for retirement, how to be prepared for retirement, those kind of things. I'm still trying to figure that out, with the hope that someday I'll get to retire. But I'd say you're starting fresh and new, so that would be something to really get that expertise, to find someone who can guide you and to listen to them and follow.
I think is important is to keep track of your spending. If you look at all that you spend and you watch your numbers steadily decrease, that should encourage you to stop spending. So if you can keep track penny by penny, monitor your numbers, and not just spend frequently or crazily or anything like that, I think that's a good idea.
There's a principle that I always think of that I didn't really follow very well. So, when you live your life, you can reflect, but I think learning to live under your means instead of over your means. So if you get married while you're in college, can I live on one income versus two, even after college? I think a lot of people get strung out. They go to buy a house and someone says you can afford a $200,000 house, and they buy one when they should be buying a $140,000 house. So I think rule number one would be just live under your means. Rule number two is whatever you establish as a habit early in your life plays out over your whole life. So obviously saving and doing tithe. I mean, if you don't tithe now when it's $5 a week, what are you going to do when it's $5,000 a week?
The thing I think people, college students specifically, should know about finances are how to do taxes. I took classes in high school on how to do taxes and a bunch about finance, and so that just comes really easy to me. But I've noticed recently a lot of college students don't know how to do their taxes, and they just go online to like H&R Block or TurboTax or something. So I think that taxes are really important.
So probably number one is kind of a combination between staying out of debt and learning to save.
Okay.
It's huge, and as I've taught in product and in our photo portfolio class, is a huge difference in when you start your savings. So, and I shared with you a compilation of like 8 years of saving $2,000, for 8 years, and then somebody else starting 8 years later and doing that for the rest of your life.
Right.
That individual who started at 8 years and quit had more money through compound interest. So saving is huge, but at the same time, making sure you stay out of debt and not spending unnecessarily. So,
I think for one thing, college students really need to know about subsidized versus unsubsidized loans, and knowing all that they can about how much they're going to owe the school afterwards and the interest as well.
Why do you think that's important?
I think a lot of people go to college and expect that as soon as they graduate, they can get straight to work and then start working towards a house and whatever else, and not realize that not only is there a lot of debt that you have, but a lot of it also builds. A lot of interest makes it more and more expensive, and so soon enough you're just in a hole.